Hello, welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate breakdown for Friday, June 2nd. We are back. Show is presented by LineStar. And as always, if you can, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our video. And if you are not already a member of the LineStar community, you should probably join it. It's only $29.99. Gets you access to all of our props, all of our DFS stuff for all the sports we cover. So, without further ado, let's jump into the slate. And before we jump fully into it, just a little programming note here is that I will be out Monday or Tuesday. I have to move from San Diego up to Oregon. And with that, I got to take some time. Got a lot of stuff to move. And I'll be out those couple days, probably be back Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what the schedule looks for baseball on then. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. The highest owned pitcher, we got Shohei Ohtani. Showtime. You can always go to him. He is high owned, though, and it is at Houston. He has, however, had some pretty big games versus them. But I would say most of the time, you don't have the big blow-up performances, which you probably do need to win a GPP. And with him being high-owned versus Houston, I can see why you want to fade him. However, it is still Shohei. He still does have a 32% K rate. Houston strikes out 23% versus righties. So there is upside there if he can limit the runs. Next, we got Kershaw coming in at 36% against the Dodgers. We know Kershaw is, against the Yankees. We know Kershaw is great. He is also at home. He's been phenomenal this year. 3.03 FIP over the last 20 starts, 30% K rate. His FIP, like Ohtani's, has been up a little bit recently with a 4.02 FIP, which it's funny. I think that's exactly what Ohtani's been right now. And the Yankees' bats have been hot. So there is definitely reason you can fade them. Yankees can strike out a lot, though. We do have a 30% combined K rate, 29.7. So I understand if you want to go to Kershaw today. He is a good pitcher. There's a lot of different places we can go on this slate. Next, we got Framber Valdez, 10.1K. He is 34% owned, so similar ownership to all three of these guys. You're probably going to have one of these guys. Don't necessarily have to have two. But Framber has been absolutely great, and Angels aren't good versus lefties. 24.7% K rate, 305 WOBA, 220 versus Valdez in the last 72 at-bats. They just aren't that great, and Shohei generally isn't quite as good of a hitter while he's pitching. So it's a big knock against that lineup here, 30% K rate. Combined K rate, and Valdez has just been spectacular. 2.19 FIP over his last 5, 2.64 over his last 20. So I definitely like Framber today. And then next we got Jack Flaherty, only 6.8K, 20% owned. The thing is, it is against Pitt, who Pitt has been hitting pretty decently lately, and we got 90-degree weather with the winds blowing out towards right. So in a decent spot. We know Flaherty can get blown up. He's been decent lately, fit before over the last 5. So I get it if you want to go to Flaherty, but I also totally get going away from it. He is the highest owned cheap option. Next, we got Tyler Glasnow. Now, Glasnow is still going to be on a pitch limit. He went 83 in his first start. I could see him getting up to 85 to 90 this start. And for his price and his ability, I love this spot for him, especially if this ownership stays a little bit low. He's a much better pitcher than any 7.9K. You're talking about a 2.19 FIP over his last 5, 3.12 over his last 20, 36% K rate over his last 20. So we got a combined K rate of 31%. You're just not going to find that type of K rate at this price very often. So if he can limit walks, be efficient, get some Ks, work a little deeper into the game, maybe into the fifth or possibly sixth if he's super efficient, then Glasnow is in a great spot to have a blow up game. Even being limited pitch count wise, that is the whole reason I would say that everybody isn't going to him, is we don't really know how many pitches he's going to be allowed to go. Next, we got Wheeler, 9.2K, 12%. I mean, it's Zach Wheeler. It's against Washington. We know they're not very good. The only thing is they don't strike out a ton. But you can absolutely go here. Nobody else really is. There is nice hitting weather. There is some more warm temperatures there. But I don't think Wheeler is going to have a problem getting through that lineup. Luis Castillo is another one. He's been great all year, going low owned. It is against the Rangers, who's a very good offense. But taking that good of a pitcher at low ownership is very interesting to me. The one other person I wanted to kind of shout out was John Gray against Seattle. This Seattle team strikes out a ton, 24.4% versus righties. Gray has been very good lately, 3.66 FIP, 23% K rate. The combined K rate's 23%, 7.6 K. He could give you a big enough number at low ownership to take down a GPP if he does well, obviously. Now, let's get into the FanDuel ownership. And Shohei, 35% owned. Clayton Kershaw, 26% owned. Flaherty, 17%. Valdez, 7%. I would personally probably be going to Valdez here, pay a little bit more, get the lower ownership. I'm not as scared as of that Angels lineup versus a lefty as I am the Houston one. So that's probably where I'd be going. I don't know if Glasnow will have, because I think he's limited to under 90 pitches, I don't know if he has the ceiling that can really get you there on FanDuel when Ohtani, Kershaw, Valdez, Castillo, all these guys, all these aces are there and fully stretched out. So that's the one thing I would say there. And now let's get into some bats. Let's go to the stacks as always. And it's taking sweet time. Here we go. All right, so the highest owned today is Philadelphia, and that's with good reason. It is Josiah Gray on the bump, 5.59 FIP over his last 20. However, he's been a little bit better lately, 4.62 FIP over his last 5. He's only allowed 6 home runs on the year so far this year, whereas last year that was his big problem. So he has been a lot better at limiting runs, limiting home runs this year. Is that going to stay? Is it going to stay that way? I don't know. Schwarber has some good numbers off him. Harper can hit anybody. This Philly team can hit. They just haven't fully broken out yet. I understand if you want to go to Philly. Not only that, we also have good hitting weather there. So I get it. Now let's go to the highest projected. Tampa Bay Rays. They should be the highest projected, way more than they are. But versus Whitlock, it makes sense. 5.23 FIP over the last 5. 4.35 over the last 20. Whitlock's been a decent pitcher, but this Rays offense is amazing and totally understand why you want to go there. It's also not extremely expensive. So, you can get some cheaper stacks in there that still project pretty well and low owned. So I think that makes a lot of sense going there. Now, next, we got the value stacks. We got the Tigers all over the value with good reasons. It's Clevinger on the bump. 5.96 FIP over the last 20. 5 FIP over the last 5. Clevinger just isn't who he was. Also, decent hitting weather here in Chicago. Not amazing, not 90s, but I think it is in high 70s, low 80s there. So that makes some sense. KC popping up as well against Chase Anderson. at home. Anderson's been okay, but he's not going to work that deep into the game, and that Colorado bullpen does not scare me. Now, if we go to the ceiling here, we got the Dodgers. Now, Dodgers versus Severino. Severino's been very good this year. He hasn't had as much strikeout upside as we're used to, but 2.81 FIP over his last 5, 3.75 over his last 20. This Dodger lineup is dangerous, though. I don't know if I'm going to get there today. I think there's a lot of other places to go. And let's click on the teams because some others have not popped up. So we talked about a value stack being the Royals. They do have the highest implied run total. So I think you do have to consider that. Then one that I like a lot is the St. Louis Cardinals, also tied for the highest implied run total. But the pitcher StatCast data, a lot of hard contact he's giving up. I went over it in the props video. Nolan Gorman is my home run call. He is hitting fastballs exceptionally well, over a 280 average, 7 home runs off fastballs. Contreras throws 42% fastballs, 90-degree weather, winds blowing out. I think St. Louis is in a good spot today. And then the one thing, though, is Pittsburgh bullpen is fairly good. We talked about Gray. The bullpen's bad also for Washington, so a good reason to go there. Merrill Kelly has been fairly good. It is the Braves, though, in a good hitting ballpark, so you can always go that route. Morton has been very good lately also, but he is letting guys on. Arizona can do some damage once they get on. I think you got to like Tampa Bay, as we went over. And the White Sox are going against Reese Olson. Reese Olson is getting called up from the minors. He has like a ERA of 6 this year. But over his last few starts, he's actually been really good. He does have some strikeout stuff. So we don't know what to expect there fully, but can obviously go to them. And Padres have started hitting. Jameson Taillon's on the bump. He hasn't been good. 6.52 FIP over his last 5. I totally think he can go here. He's allowing some hard contact, and that bullpen isn't very good. So I think San Diego is going to go way under-owned, and they are in a decent spot there as well. So another one is Pittsburgh. You can pick on Jack Flaherty. Flaherty has got shelled. Their bullpen isn't that good. So with that hitting environment, that weather, the wind's blowing out slightly, I think they're in a really good spot for a possible blow-up game. All right, guys, and that will do it for us today. I appreciate you guys. Good luck. Have a great weekend, and I will see you once I'm up in Oregon. You guys have a good one. Talk to you soon. Good luck. Bye.